you know it's time. IAfootball is back, and we've got you covered with everything from the biggest hits to the biggest runs, from in-game highlights to post-game breakdowns.
We are here talking any and all high school football.
From day one all the way to the dome, we've got you covered at IAfootball.
What is up, everybody? Cade Nissen of IAfootball here. Bonus show on a Tuesday. I asked and you guys delivered. I said 25 likes on the ranking show, and I would do a specific playoff preview. You guys took care of that pretty easily. 73 likes. That was just as of this morning. And so here we go. So how this is going to work, I guess, before we get into that, but I'm not going to make picks on this, okay? I'm not going to go through and pick every single game. I don't enjoy doing that because then I upset people and people think I hate their football program. That's just not true. We're going to go about this a different way. But if you do want picks, we will have them coming on Thursday for our Rockfin subscribers. We've been doing that all year. And so if you do want to know exactly who our IAfootball rankers think is going to win, that's where you can see that. How we're going to do this, though, I'm going to go through each class and I'm going to use an upset meter. Okay, so I went through last night. I got my little legal pad here. I gave each matchup a 1 through 5. 1 saying low upset alert. I really like this top team here, blah, blah, blah. 5, man, this road team is going to be really, really tough. Like I think they got a chance here. So this is how I'm going about it. You can take it as you wish. The 3s are kind of like the toss-up games, like, man, really good games. So that's how I'm going to go about it. I have notes. I don't have individual notes for each games. There are 16 games for each class, so bear with me. This is going to be kind of like a podcast style. You guys are going to be sitting and looking at me on the screen. I will have the matchups up, but I won't have individual graphics. Now, as the playoffs go on and as we narrow down the fields in each class, we will be able to go into more detail. So bear with me here. This was kind of last second. I'm going to have bound up. I'm going to be going through my notes. But yeah, this is going to be kind of more of a podcast style. So here are all your 2A playoffs in your round of 32. So this is where we're at, and this is how we are going to go about it. We are starting off Spirit Lake, Cherokee, Washington. I'm going to go right down the line. These are this should be the 1 seeds versus the 4 seeds, right? Yes, 1 versus 4 games. So Cherokee is the top seed here. I gave this one a 2. I think Spirit Lake has been playing well. Ty Higgins, sophomore quarterback, has been great for them, leading the way. They've won their last 2 games. But Cherokee, I mean, looking at their last month, they have been on fire. They beat CLGLR, beat Boyden Hull, beat Western Christian, beat Sheldon. I mean, a lot of those opponents are very quality. Jackson Palstrud is getting going here. I gave this one a 2 in terms of the upset meter. So, I mean, again, you can take that for what you wish. I'm not going to go through any more on that. Kemper, Grandview Christian, I gave this one a 1. I like Grandview Christian. I think Judah Locke and Braden Hoban and company, I think this team can air it out, and I think they could score some points. The problem is Kemper has been literally untouchable all year. This team has shown no signs of slowing down, and I will be there on Friday night, or Friday early afternoon or late afternoon, however you want to call it. Doubleheader in Carroll on Friday. I can't pass that up, so I'll be there. I'm giving this one a 1. I do like Grandview Christian. I thought they were one of the tougher 4 seeds out there to draw. It just so happens that they get the unanimous number 1 team in the class. Roland Story and Anamosa is where we are going to go next. I gave this one a 2. Anamosa's Hudson Scranton has the chance. He has the ability to take game over. I've liked him. I've liked what they've done. Anamosa is coming off 2 straight losses to West Branch and Alburnett, 2 really good teams. And Roland Story has been really good in their own right. They've won. They're 6-2. They've won their last 5 on bound, is what I can see. They got a big win over Dyke New Hartford, obviously in thrilling fashion. They've won close games. They've won big games. Colin Willis, the sophomore quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in that class. Luke Thorson, the wide receiver, is his favorite target. He's been really good too. And then Cody Long. They got a nice little 3-headed monster over there in Roland Story. So I gave this one a 2. West Branch versus Denver. I give this one a 1. West Branch is just sneakily a really good team. I think they were way too low in our ultimate rankings. They come off a big win over Bellevue, and now here they are ranked in our poll, I believe, for the first time all year. And this is a really quality team. When I went back and when was looking at their schedule, Keaton Gates has been really good. And this is the team that's played Regina the closest to this point, and it was a 12-point game, I think, 2-possession game. So West Branch, I think, is a lot better than people are giving them credit for. I think this team is dangerous. I gave this one a 1. Bless me. Mid Prairie, North Fayette Valley. Same drill here. I gave this one a 1 as well. Again, this is the 1 versus 4 matchup, so you're gonna get a lot of that in this one. Mid Prairie has been really good, 7-1 to this point. They've been rolling. They have a win over Wilton too, and I think Wilton is a sneaky good team that people are kind of slept on right now. Another kind of big three here: Brooks Weber, Hudson Ehrenfeld, and then on defense, Caden Koss. He's been really good too. This is a deep mid prairie team that can pass it, that can rush it. They've thrown for 1,500 yards. They've rushed for over 1,000. I think this mid prairie team is another one that's really, really good come this time of year. This is a legit 1 seed. PCM West Liberty. I gave this one a 1. I just saw PCM last week. This team can run the football, and they will not stop running the football until you prove you can stop it. I think West Liberty's great. Devin Miracle, the sophomore quarterback, has been good. I'm excited to see him progress. But PCM, I think, is just another monster here. I give this one a 1. And then Clarinda Pella Christian is interesting. Pella Christian is undoubtedly one of the better 4 seeds you can draw. I know they're only 2-6. Don't get me wrong. I'm aware, but this team has played a lot of close games. They played PCM competitively. They played Centerville competitively, and they can score some points. Brecken Ritzer, leading passer, leading rusher for them. But I do think Clarinda is in that elite tier. Noah Harris, Baylor Hash, sophomore, he's leading them in rushing in tackles. They're coming off just an absolute dominating win over Woodward Granger. That probably didn't get enough love as it should have. Clarendon has been great. They have a win over Van Meter at this point. Fell to Grandview Christian, which I think just shows how deep that district is. So Clarendon came out on top in this district that was really topsy turvy, and they've earned that. And I think they got a good chance moving on here. Okay, now to the 2 and 3s. Western Christian OA BCAG. I gave this one a 4. And again, this is I don't take offense to this, anybody reading this, because this is me giving my analysis. Western Christian, a great team, 6-2, but you're facing a 5-3 OA BCIG team. This is one of the better matchups on the 2 versus 3 slate here. And Jax DeJean's coming off his first start at quarterback. He looked really good. I think they unlock something with him at quarterback there. A great quarterback matchup in this one, because Landon DeStigder of Western Christian has been really good in his own right. Western Christian's won 3 of their last 4. The only losses to Cherokee. They can score some points, and they can play good defense. Colby Heemskirk, I feel like I'm seeing him in the box score every single week. So that's what I've got there. I've got that one as a 4. I think that's going to be a really good game. Okoboji Unity Christian, another one that I tabbed with a 4 here. I like Unity Christian. I think that district they came out of was really deep. They get the 3 seed out of it. And I think you're getting an Okoboji team that just suffered their first loss of the year. Unity Christian has played close games just week in and week out, it seems, this year. Dylan Bosma is an elite playmaker under quarterback, under center at quarterback for Unity Christian. I gave that one a 4. I think that's a really good team going on the road there. Waukon and Bellevue. I gave this one a 5. Now, it is going to be rare that you see a 5 on this list, but I am giving it here. I think Bellevue is probably, looking down the line, the best 3 seed on here. They are coming off a loss to West Branch, ended up in the tiebreakers, going down to 3rd. I think this team is still really, really good, though. Just coming off a loss last week. Cal Boniface can absolutely just throw it wherever he wants, and he's going to find Keenan Kilberg a lot of the time. Those two are an incredible connection. Walk-on, though, coming off a win over Crestwood, so they played themselves into a home game, and now they get Bellevue coming into town. So I give this one a 5. Next one, Hampton Dumont Cal and Woodward Granger. I gave this one a 3, seemingly saying I think this is a very evenly matched team, aka I don't really know where to go with this one, because both teams have been very up and down. I mean, Hampton Dumont Cal has lost to Vinton Schellsburg, but then they come back and they beat Dyke New Hartford by 31. This is a 500 team going on the road. And then Woodward Granger, same thing here. They have a good win over Grandview Christian, but they also struggled in two of their other bigger games with Van Meter and Clarinda. If Houston can get going and he can pass and run the ball effectively, I think they're really good. But if Hampton Dumont Cal can slow that down, I think they have a good shot in this. And Hampton Dumont Cal does show a little bit more of a balanced offense here. So I give this one a 3. I think this is one of the more evenly matched games on this 2A slate. Alburnett Crestwood, I gave this one a 1. Crestwood obviously just lost last week, drops down to go on the road, and they happen to go on the road to Alburnett, who's a very, very formidable 2 seed. Lake and Caves and company. This team has been on a roll as of late. I think the Pirates are legit, and I think they're a scary team in a pod too. Another team that I think is just now catching fire and maybe getting the love from us that they deserve, Wilton and Dyke New Hartford. Dyke New Hartford, I just mentioned they lost last week, and now they go on the road, and they get to go to Wilton, who, I mean, Wilton has played seemingly everyone very, very close. They lost to Regina, they lost to Mid Prairie, but besides that, Wilton has been nails to this point. Gatler Rogers leading that defense, and they got a bunch of playmakers over here at Wilton. 6-2 on the mark at this point. Gunnar Edwards leading the way at quarterback. I think Wilton's a really good team, and I think one of our guys is planning on going down to this game. So you might see an IA football rep here at this one. But yes, moving on here. Centerville and Meepo. I gave this one a 1. I just saw Centerville last week. I know they lost, but I still see an elite team here. They get Meepo coming to their place, which I think is valuable. Mac Murdoch, Clayton Lawson, they seem to be a elite connection there. They also have a lot of elite athletes outside of that in Desania and Caliponi. If they can hone in that defense just a little bit more, I think Centerville could be a team that goes on a run in this pod play. And then Van Meter, South Timmins County, I also gave this a 1. Van Meter drops down to the 2 seed. I think this still is an elite Van Meter team, and one that you're not going to want to see in this pod. South Timmins County, what an incredible year, though. I mean, from a program that struggled in late years to get to the postseason. I know they get a tough draw going on the road to Van Meter's place, but nevertheless, excited to see how they compete in that game. I just think Van Meter is a top 10 team, and that's where they are in our pool. So anytime you draw one of those teams, that's always tough. But that's what we have for 2A. Again, just a lot of me rambling. Going on to 1A. Again, it's just going to be talking podcast style for you 1A fans that are clicking on right now. West Lyon, I gave this one a 1. West Lyon's just been dominant to this point. I mean, the defense has let up nothing. There's really no guy standing out crazy in the stat sheet, and it's because they don't play the second half. They're beating up on teams so badly that the starters aren't having to play, and they get East County this week, who's a good team, and earned a playoff spot. But I still gave this one a 1. Manson Northwest Webster, Lawton Bronson. I gave this one a 3. Again, the 3 basically means it's a really even game, and I have no clue which way this could go. When you get these teams that haven't like played similar opponents really, and now they're clashing, you never really know how good their opponents were all year, if that makes sense, and how well they were really tested. So I give this one a 3 because I do like Noah Drew, quarterback for Lawton Bronson. He's a junior, leads them in passing and rushing. I like him. Coy Moline has been a stud, though, for Manson Northwest Rupture. He's been on our IAfootball team of the week multiple times. Lawton has lost 3 of their last 4, but those were to Ridgeview, Hinton, and West Lyon, all very good teams. They have beaten MVAO COU in the last month plus. So I think Lawton's record is a little bit misleading, but then Manson Northwest Rupture, I mean, this team has been red hot. They've won their last 5. East County, Pocahontas, Emmitsburg, South Central Calhoun, and South Hamilton all have fallen to the Cougars in the last 5 weeks. No, like, real crazy strength of schedule there, but again, you go and win all your games. That's what you should do when you play that schedule. So I think this is going to be a really fun game. I have no clue which way that could go. That's why I gave it a 3. Moving on, Grundy Center, Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont. I give this one a 1. Before we go on, EBF, Zane Molinex is having an incredible year. I mean, defensively, that dude is all over the place. He's been a ton of fun to follow, just even on the stat sheet. I haven't even seen any film on him, but he's had an excellent year for them. They go to Grundy Center. I give that one a 1. I don't think I need to explain that one too much. I mean, Grundy Center is the powerhouse that it is, and I expect them to get in that pod play. Hudson and Central Springs, I gave this one a 3. This is another 1 seed that I think got a tough draw. Hudson kind of struggled down as of late, lost to Applington Parkersburg. There was some question about whether the district title was going to be theirs. They end up locking it up in the final week against Jessup, but they get a Central Springs team that I know is 4-4, but 2 of their losses are to South Hardin and Grundy Center. I think the Central Spring team is a little better than people might think. Eddie Pruin, junior quarterback Jamison Rothmeyer, Braden Crum is all over the place too. This is going to be a fun game because Tate Roberts at the end at Hudson quarterback is going to be tough to stop, and Hudson obviously earning a home game at this point. These are 2 4-4 teams battling it out, so I think this one could really go either way. Which is why I gave it on my meter of a 3. Beckman Catholic and Jessup is what we've got next. I got to pull this one up quick. I gave this one a 1. Beckman Catholic, not really talked about at all this year, but boy, they have just been dominant. They've won their last 5. They beat Cascade by 35, and I think Cascade's a really good team here. Brady Gogol, Mac Wolf leading the way on offense, and then the defense. I mean, the defense has given up nothing seemingly in the last month plus. This team has been really good. Jessup coming in at 2-6, just sneaking in on the last spot. I think Beckman Catholic has a good chance here. That's why I gave this one a 1. Regina and Northeast. I think Northeast has some fun playmakers, but Regina has just been unstoppable on the same boat. A lot of these 1A teams have just been elite to this point. I gave this one a 1. Kyle Tracy and company running an efficient offense, and they have not really shown any signs of slowing down at all. West Marshall, Shenandoah. I gave this one a 2. I think West Marshall is really good. Obviously, earning the 1 seed in a district with Pleasantville was not easy, but they get it done. Blake Hart, junior quarterback, leading the way, passing, rushing. They got a guy in Kinnick Gears. It's a lot of fun to watch. He can kind of wreck a game. But Shenandoah, I think, is I mean, it's tough because I think Joey O'Rourke is playing better. I think their record doesn't show what they've done. They played a really good game with Tri-Center, who I think is a good 4 seed. Obviously, they lost to Underwood and Trainer 2 in the last month plus. I think Shenandoah is a little bit better than this record might say. That's why I gave it a 2, but still, I think I like West Marshall's chances here. And then Trainer and Ogden. Trainer has just been unstoppable to this point. They win that district, the really tough district with Underwood, Tri-Center, Shenandoah in it. Trainer is the one that ends up on top in it. They get Ogden, who again got in via their 4 seed, but I do like Trainer here. Jet Sorensen, Ethan Hill have been incredible. You're probably going to see at least one of those guys on our IAfootball semifinalist watch list. But that's what we have for the 1A 1 versus 4 games. Moving on to the 1A 2 versus 3 games. Ridgeview and Tri-Center, an interesting one to start us off here. Ridgeview has seemingly been a top 10 team all year. They get the reigning Class A state champs in Tri-Center, who have maybe struggled a little bit more than we thought. But then again, this schedule for Tri-Center was just daunting. Trainer, Underwood, OAB, CIG, and company all at their hands. But you're going to have to stop A.J. Harder and his 2 elite wide receivers, Zach Nelson, Kale Witt. But Ridgeview has been good in their own right. Brock Wilkin has been really good. Again, in their last month plus, they're only lost to West Lyon. They have wins over Hinton, Lawton Bronson, and MVAO COU, all very quality 1A teams. So I think it's going to be a fun game. I give this one a 3. Then we have Emmitsburg hosting Hinton. I gave this one a 4 because I do like Hinton on the road here. I think Hinton's a really good team. Emmitsburg, I think, got a tough draw here. This is one of the better 3 seeds going on the road in Hinton. I gave that one a 3. South Hardin, I gave a 1 versus Comanche. I think South Hardin is probably the best 2 seed on this line here. I don't see them falling in this first round. I think this upset meter is very low. Columbus Catholic and Clarion Goldfield Dows. I'm going to have to pull this one up because this is another one. I gave it a 4. I kind of like Clarion. I do. They've played Grundy Center. They've played South Hardin. Again, those are 2 losses that nearly everyone in the state's going to have. So they're 5-3 overall. Joel Meyer is approaching 1,000 yards rushing. These 2 teams actually have some history. They haven't played since 2011, which is kind of interesting. But, I mean, Columbus Catholic in their own right has been very, very good. Amani Robinson and company. This is that district with Hudson, Applington, and Jessup and Union and a lot of evenly matched teams. So I kind of like Clarion in this one. That's why I give this one a 4. I think the Cowboys have a better shot than people might give them credit for going on the road here. Cascade versus Union. I'm not going to lie. These last 4 are all 1s. Cascade versus Union. Sigourney Kyoto Interstate 35, Pleasantville versus Durant, and Underwood versus South Central Calhoun. I gave all of those matchups a 1. Cascade has been dominant to this point. I think the Cobras at Sigourney are getting hot at the right time. That rushing offense is really hard to stop. Pleasantville, I gave a 1. That's an elite team in Class 1A on a 2 seed line. And then the same thing with Underwood, Garrett Lutt and company. I think I gave that a 1 just because they have been a top 10 team all year to this point. They just happen to end up on the 2 seed line. So that's what I have for Class 1A. We are halfway through. I've been talking a lot. I do apologize. You're going to be sick of my voice by the end of this one. Moving on, though, to Class A. MMCRU Belmont Clemmy. I gave this one a 1. I think Belmont Clemmy has been a fun team. They just played West Hancock really competitively. Brody Heifner and company. They've been good. MMCRU has just been great. I gave that one a 1 on our upset meter. Same thing with West Hancock, St. Ansgar, and Wapsie Valley. I gave all of those a 1s. These are all teams inside of our top 5. I think St. Ansgar has been the most dominant team in Class A this year. Those guys have been flexing their muscles every single week. Wapsie Valley coming off a win over a North Lynn team that was top 5. So Wapsie Valley all of a sudden looking like they could be a pod hoster at this point. And if they win it, I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't be. So those guys all get a 1. Pekin Earlham, I gave a 2. Earlham has been playing really well as of late. They just gave Linville Sully a scare last week, but Pekin, Nolan Glick, I think they're a little too much in that one. I gave that one a 2 though because I could see some crazy stuff happening. And speaking of seeing crazy stuff happening, Linville Sully and Wapello, I gave a 3. I think Wapello has some sneaky athletes here. 5-3 too as a 4 seed going on the road. That's a tough draw. A couple losses to Van Buren County and Danville in the last few weeks for Wapello. Rowan Atkinson at quarterback. Justin Faulkner is a really elite athlete too. I think this one could be fun. Linville Solely led by Connor Deal though at quarterback. They won their district in their own right. They beat Madrid, they beat Earlham, they've won some close games, they beat BGM. So Linville Sully 7-1, maybe a team you didn't expect on this 1 seed line, but here they are. But I do think they drew maybe one of the better 4 seeds that they could. ACGC and Woodbury Central, these final 2, I also gave a 1-2. ACGC just terrorizing Riverside last week. Boy, that just if you don't believe ACGC is an elite Class A team, last week should have showed you that. And then Woodbury Central clinching their district last week. Jackson versus Score. This is one of the Class A teams that will just huck it around the yard, which is a ton of fun. I feel like I've been saying Verscore's name ever since I've been doing IAfootball, and it's probably because I have. That guy's been there forever. But AHSDW is a good team, but I still am going to give that a 1 because Woodbury Central has just been elite all year. And then these 2 versus 3 games in Class A. West Sioux, I gave a 1. West Sioux is an elite team. This is probably the best 2 seed on this line here. They get ICAM Manning team, a team that's been fun to watch. Ben Ramsey has had a great year, but I think West Sioux and Blake Wiggins have a good shot there. Newman Catholic and Sibley Oshiden. I always feel like I'm saying that town wrong, so I probably am. But I gave this one a 3. Sibley's going on the road, and this is a team that's kind of been floating around the back end of our rankings. Hunter Kaufman has been really good, leading them in passing and rushing. They got a balanced offense. Newman Catholic also in their own right, 5-3 to this point. Thomas McGuire has been good at quarterback. They've won 4 of their last 5. I mean, the only loss in their last 5 weeks has been to St. Ansgar. And same thing with Sibley. Their only 2 losses are to West Hancock and MMCRU. So I think it's a really evenly matched game, which is why I gave it that 3. Nashua, Plainfield, and West Fork. I gave a 4. This is another one that's going to be really fun. Nashua, Plainfield. I'll tell you, number 16, I think in our rankings. West Fork is the first team out at number 17. So this one is one of the more evenly matched games. 7-1 Nashua Plainfield, 6-2 West Fork. These are 2 teams that want to run the football. Both of them have over 2,000 rushing yards. Dax Sunkin, the guy for West Fork, they just played West Hancock really close a few weeks ago. And then Nashua Plainfield, they have a lot of really nice wins too, beating North Butler, Starmont, Southwind, and Clayton Ridge. All their 4 last victories are all quality, I would say. So that one's going to be a ton of fun. I do kind of like West Fork, though. They've been kind of a fun team to follow, and I think they've been just sneaky just because it's not a name you think of usually in Class A. So that should probably be a 3, but I gave it a 4. So I think that one's going to be fun. Northland, Columbus, I gave this one a 2. Northland falling to the 2 seed last week after losing to Wapsie Valley. I do still think this is an elite team. I think they get back on track here, but I do think Columbus is viable in their own right. Danville and Maquoketa Valley. Another one, there's a lot of really good Class A 2 versus 3 games here. I had this one is another one. I gave this one a 3. 2 6-2 teams here. Maquoketa Valley was preseason number 1 in a lot of polls. They kind of struggle with injuries, I know, and whatnot. But they've been playing well as of late. They only lost to Wapsie Valley in the last 5 weeks, and then Danville played Pekin really close. Man, if they beat Pekin, a lot changes here. They've gotten a few forfeit wins the last few weeks, so they're looking to stay healthy. They beat Wapello last week. Dylan Mason and Byers Neely are a really good 1-2 combo. And then Trevor Grimm and Rogan Height from Maquoketa Valley. So this one's going to be a ton of fun. Probably my favorite Class A game, I would say, is that one this week. Madrid and North Butler, I gave a 2. I said it on the ranking show. I'll say it again. Madrid with Logan Velke is a different animal. I don't know his health, like where he's at, percentage-wise right now. So I'm curious to see where that is, because if he's not 100%, then that changes a lot of things. But if he is back and good to go, that's a dangerous team. That's why I gave that a 2, because I just wasn't really sure. Riverside BGM could be a lot of yards here. Jackson Gordon versus Bo Burns. I gave this one a 2. I do think Riverside is the better team, just on paper and how they've played throughout the year. But BGM undoubtedly poses a threat. This is one of the tougher 3 seeds that you probably didn't want to draw, but Riverside gets them. Going to be a lot of yards there. That could be a lot of offense in that one. That could be a ton of fun to watch. And then St. Albert, Mount Air. I gave this one a 4. Mount Air has been really, really good this year. I mean, this is a team that played Pleasantville really, really close. A elite team of class ahead of them. They only lost to ACGC by 8, too. So Mount Air probably not getting the love that they deserve. Jackson Ruggles leading the way under center. Dyson Thompson, Adler Reed. I mean, I've been seeing those guys' names the last few years covering football in this class. And then St. Albert, I think it is another good team. They're both 5-3 to this point. Earned the 2 seed after losing to Woodbury Central last week. They've lost to Woodbury Central. They've lost to Riverside. The Falcons have had a great year. Definitely a balanced offense. Sophomore quarterback Kale Yurkowski, and then Kyle Irwin. I've been seeing his name all over the place too. So that one's going to be a ton of fun. Another really evenly matched 2 versus 3 game. So that leaves us with Class 8-man. Let me move my paper. Okay, 8-man. I mean, 8-man has been very top heavy this year. I feel like it usually is. So I'll just save yourself some time. These top GTRA, Bishop Garrigan, Don Bosco, Edwidge Colesburg, Iowa Valley, and Gladbrook Rhinebeck, I all gave these a 1. These are all elite teams in Class 8-man that have been living inside of our top 10 for most of the year. Many of these could be quarterfinal matchups, if I'm being honest. So I gave all those a 1, just because I really like those top teams. Where it gets interesting, though, Southeast Warren, Boyer Valley, I gave this one a 4. Boyer Valley, the toughest, low seed that you could draw. They were stuck in a district with Woodbine and with Fremont Mills. I'm trying to find this game right here on Bounce that I can click on it. Give me 2 seconds. Brain's farting. I've been on camera for too long. Is it not? Oh, it's because I was still on Class A Unbound. Whoops. Southeast Warren. There we go. 2 6-2 teams here. Obviously, Southeast Warren has a 1 seed drawn Boyer Valley. It's a tough draw, nevertheless. Brody Koski has been great. Levi Reinecke. Travis Burkhardt on defense has been really, really good, too. Boyer Valley is just a deep team. Southeast Warren has kind of struggled as of late, losing to Lennox, losing to Wayne 2 the last 3 weeks. And Boyer Valley has a loss to Woodbine, but besides that, they've been dominant in their own right. I really like Boyer Valley. I gave this one a 4 because I do think the upset levels should be high here. Bedford and Wayne, another one that I gave a 4 to, because I think Wayne is playing really well, and another team you don't usually think of in Class 8-man, but they've earned this right to be in this conversation with these elite teams, as this is bound is now, of course, being tough on me. This is 2 7-1 teams playing on a 1 seed line. Here in Class 8-man. Fisher Buckingham for Wayne has been really, really good, leading them in passing and rushing. And then for Bedford, obviously, you know what they're going to want to do. They're going to want to run the football. Both these teams have over 2,000 yards rushing. They will pass it if they need to. There is a threat there. Boy, this this is gonna be a fun game for a 1 seed line. I mean, Wayne has been on fire as of late. So has Bedford. I mean, these two teams, just one loss for each of these two teams all year long, and now they match up in round one of the playoffs. So in terms of just raw records going, this is gonna be a ton of fun. Bedford. I know Wayne's rank. I think Bedford just got in the rankings. This is an IAfootball ranked game right out of the gate. Audubon versus Lennox. I gave this a 1. Audubon has just been unreal at this point. They've been putting up 30 and 40 points in the first quarter, week in and week out. It feels like. I think Lennox is a ton of fun. They got some fun athletes, but I think it's a tough draw. Woodbine and Exira, I also gave this a 1. Woodbine has just been a top 5 team all year. Exira, I think, could pose some threat. Bryce Brabham has had some big games, but Woodbine in those big games that they have played this year have just dominated. So that I've got that one as a 1 too. And then our 2 seeds, I gave St. Edmund and Fremont Mills a 4 because Fremont Mills obviously coming from that district with Woodbine. They're 6-2 to this point. Fremont Mills is with 2 losses to Audubon and then to Woodbine, as I said. Sawyer Forney, Paxton Campbell have been really good. These guys have beaten up on a lot of teams. And then St. Edmund coming off a huge win over Kingsley Pearson. This is a team that's played really well. They're 5-3, couple losses to GTRA, who they played close, and then Bishop Garrigan, who is the number 1 team in the class. So another fun one here, 6-2 versus 5-3. I gave this one a 4 because I do like Fremont Mills. I think they came from a little tougher district, but I guess time will tell. Riceville and Janesville, the Battle of the Vills, Rice and Janes. I gave this one a 3 because I really didn't know, and I think this is another one of those that's truly a toss-up, as I'm again waiting for Bound. 5-4 Janesville, 6-2 Riceville. Blaine Porter has been a guy I've been familiar with for a while. He's had a good year. Janesville actually just lost to Riceville 2 weeks ago, and it was a 48-40 game. So this is one of those that, boy, it could go either way. I mean, that's a close contest right there, and they get a matchup with each other yet again right away in the postseason. Easton Valley, Belle Plaine, gave this one a 2. I think Belle Plaine's a solid team, which is why I gave it a 2. But Easton Valley, Keegan Lee, Callan Messerich have been great. This team can score a lot of points, and I think this is going to be a fun team in the playoffs. Clarksville and Coon Rapids Baird, another one I gave a 2. Because I do like Coon Rapids, and I think they could pose some sort of threat here. Clarksville has been great, though, 6-2 to this point with losses, with the loss coming to Gladbrook Rhinebeck a few weeks ago. Coon has been really good in their own right. They can put up a lot of points, a couple losses to Woodbine and Audubon in the last few weeks. But besides that, they can score a lot. And Ethan Bauer is a big reason why. Great running back matchup here. Ethan Bauer and Nathan Moon in this one. So that's another one of those that could be a ton of fun. And then Montezuma and East Union, I gave this one a 1. Montezuma, one of the better 2 seeds that you can have here. Getting East Union, who I believe is another 2 seed, but Montezuma with Brady Bolton and company. I like them here. I think they're really good for a 2 seed, and they played a tough schedule, and I think they're going to be a tough draw on the pods if they can get there. But that's what we have. 32 minutes of just me straight talking. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a like. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I lived up to that promise. So I think if Quinn does have pods that he predicted, I think he was going to try and get on. I know he's got a busy week with state volleyball and whatnot, but yes, and I'm still planning on thinking about a show Friday night, maybe Saturday morning. I'm not really sure where we're at. I've been kind of looking at the pods right now and trying to predict so I can get ahead of schedule, but there will be some sort of show either late Friday night or Saturday morning. Just not sure which one. And we will probably have an instant reaction right after the pods come out so I can talk about, just broad topics. So that's what I got. Appreciate y'all. Again, drop a like if you enjoyed this type of video. There's gonna be a ton of stuff on YouTube here in the next week for the playoffs. So appreciate y'all, and I'll catch you next time.